There once was a small group of children who were interested in building things at their school. They eventually joined a group called the construction group. They had just finished helping the performance group by making a house for their play and decided that they wanted to make something for their school. They weren't quite sure what, but they knew that they wanted to build some kind of structure that they could leave at their school for others to enjoy even after they were gone. That being said, Amir, Joey, Charlie, Nasiah, Drew, and Jonah decided they would work together and figure out what they could build. They had decided they wanted to build some kind of building, but were not sure what kind to construct. I decided that I would find a book for them to look at for inspiration. I found a book called Houses and Homes by Anne Morris. This book contained pictures and information on all different kinds of dwellings from around the world. These structures were made out of all different materials and came in all different shapes and sizes. The one that seemed to be the most popular amongst them was the teepee-shaped structure. They were interested in the design and really wanted to build one for the school. They all voted on it and decided that that was the one that they were going to build. After they decided, they read what the book had to say about the structure and found out that even though it did look like a teepee, they called it a tent in the book. The book said that this tent was used in India by gypsies that moved around. The group decided that the structure that they would build would be called a teepee, though. Next, I asked, where do you think the best place to build your teepee would be? Nasiah said, outside on the playground, and the rest of the children agreed. The next time the children met, I asked them, what kinds of materials will you need to build your teepee? They looked at their book and researched some online pictures. They then thought of what they needed and where they might find some of these materials. Charlie said, we need sticks to build our teepee. Joey said, you need to cut down trees, it's really big, and put them together like a big triangle. Charlie responded with, that's like what we have at the woods. Drew said, we could put up 2 sticks and we can build a really big gate so bears and polar bears and wolves can't get in. Jonah suggested we could make a door. I asked, what do you think we could use to go around the outside of the teepee? Remembering the prop house that the group had made for the stage, Nasiah suggested we could use paper. They used paper for the walls of their house for the stage, but that was inside one of the classrooms. I said, we could use paper. We are planning on making this teepee outside. What do you think would happen if it rained? Jonah said, the paper would get all wet and it would tear. I then asked if they thought that paper was the best idea, and they all agreed that it was not. So I asked what else they thought they could use, and Charlie said they could use cloth. Now cloth was a great idea, and with that, the time for their discussion was over, and they would have to continue at another meeting. At the next meeting, they decided they were going to need some sticks from somewhere. Charlie said they need to get really long sticks. The rest of the group agreed that the sticks needed to be long in order for people to be able to fit in the teepee once it was finished. I then asked the children where they think they could find some sticks. Amir suggested that we could find them on the playground, but Joy did not think there would be big enough sticks on the playground. Charlie said we could find them in the woods. So the decision was made that they were going to have to go to the woods in order to find sticks that were big enough for what they needed. There was a wooded area that was not too far away, and they made plans to go there another day by bikes to see what they could find. The group decided they definitely needed sticks. They pointed at a picture and noticed how they were all leaning together at the top of the teepee. I pointed to a picture again and asked the children to look at it and see what else they might need. Drew said, "We need something to cover the outside." And he was right. They had the idea to come up with the sticks to hold it together, but they also would need something to wrap around their support sticks to cover it up and act as walls for their teepee. I also asked how they thought the teepee sticks stayed together. They had a couple of different answers. One of the children said glue, while another one thought nails. I pulled out my tablet and searched the internet for more pictures of teepees for them to look at, and then asked them again how they thought the teepee's sticks were held together. The children said string and rope, and ultimately decided that they would need some rope to hold their sticks together. The day came for their big bike ride, and they all got ready to head to the woods. I also rode a bike with the group, and we went down the sidewalks across campus headed towards a wooded area. While there, they were allowed to explore and see what they could find. Right away, they started to find large pieces of wood. I suggested that they start making a pile of the sticks they thought they could use by the sidewalk. Jonah found a very large stick and exclaimed, "Mr. Janitas, I can lift it!" And he proudly carried it to the pile. Joey was walking through the woods and tripped on a piece of wood, then got up and said, "I'm okay. It's kind of fally in here." He then added, "I had a log and I saw a teepee in the book that had one stick out the top." The children continued to gather sticks they thought might be big enough. After a while, it was time to go, and they were again faced with a dilemma. How were they going to get the sticks they chose back to the school when they were on bikes? They had many different ideas as to how they were going to accomplish this task. Jonah said, "Get a rope and tie it to the back of the bike and pull it." Amir simply said, "Walk." Joey said, "Get a huge trailer and a long rope and tie them to the school and pull them." He also added that at his dad's work they had a big red trailer. Charlie had a couple of different ideas. He said, "We could get a two-seater and put them under the seat and pull them back." He also said, "We could look for a picture that has something that is so strong it could pull the sticks." Nasiah said, "Go to my dad's house and get his snake and tie the snake on the sticks." I wondered to the group if the snake would be strong enough to pull the sticks. Then Nasiah said something that everyone agreed made the most sense. She said, "We could all just work as a team and carry them back, then go get some more and carry it back." They all agreed that that would be what they were going to do. They rode their bikes back, leaving the stick pile there, awaiting their return. It was later in the week, and the crew set off to haul some sticks back to the school. When they arrived, they were happy to see that their pile of sticks were still there. The next obstacle was getting them back, since they all were fairly large. Amir and Joy, remembering what Nasiah said, suggested they work together and help carry the sticks back. The group split up into groups of 3, and each started to carry the sticks back. Nasiah, Amir, and Jonah took one stick, and Nasiah proclaimed, "Ours looks like a jump rope." Joey, Drew, and Charlie decided to work together on a stick that they chose. Joey said, "I know, we can have someone up here, and someone in the middle, and someone in the back." And they spaced out to help each other carry it back. They all worked together and took turns rotating throughout the different spots so that everyone had a turn at each spot. They arrived back at school and stored their sticks outside for when they would need them. The next thing the group did was to decide what they wanted their teepee to look like. The group again went to my tablet to aid in this decision. They each took turns looking at pictures of all different kinds of teepees, and then started to draw individual pictures of what they wanted their teepees to look like. They each had different ideas how they thought the teepee should look, and were inspired by some of their favorite pictures that they researched. Joey had people in armor inside his teepee, and he said, There's people inside those pieces of armor in the teepee because there's bad guys. Nasiah's sketch had a picture of her and her bird outside of her teepee. Amir drew his sticks in a triangle shape with fire sticks on the side. Having a fire seemed to be a common theme amongst the group. Charlie said, "Mine has an upstairs." Jonah drew the sticks for the teepee and told me, "There's a fire inside the teepee." Drew said, "Mine is a two-seater." The group ended with a discussion with what would come next. The group talked about putting the sticks together with the ropes, but no one was really sure how to do it. I told them that I had an idea, but they would have to wait until the next time they met, and they were all left to ponder what my idea was. The next time the construction group met, it was at the tables in the classroom, and I asked them if they knew what a model was. No one really seemed to know, but they had a few guesses. Amir said it was a car. I said that it could be a car. I explained that a model is a smaller version of something and shared a couple of different models with them. Then I set out some yarn and smaller sticks on the table and asked if they knew what they were going to do. Joey said, "Make a model?" And he was right. I thought that making a model of the teepee would be good practice for making the full-size teepee. The group split up between two tables and started working on their own teepee models. Jonah had his teepee standing up, but was having trouble keeping it standing. Nasiah soon had the same problem. I said, "Your teepees keep falling. What do you think we could do with the yarn that might help?" Nasiah replied, "We could wrap the yarn around the top." I gave Jonah and Nasiah pieces of yarn, but they were having trouble wrapping the yarn around the top and keeping the teepee standing. I offered to hold the teepee as they wrapped the yarn, and the teepees ended up staying together. They then had an idea for what they needed to do to make their big teepee. The only difference was that they were going to use the larger sticks, and instead of yarn, they were going to use rope. The day finally came for them to start building their teepee. The group headed outside with their pieces of rope. I asked them what they needed to do first, and Joey said they needed to get the sticks first. The group started to pick out what sticks they wanted for their teepee. They carefully chose sticks that were long and straight enough out of the sticks that they collected. The sticks were so big that they had to work together to hold them up. Once they had erected a couple of sticks, I held on to the top as they chose the others. The group decided that 6 sticks were enough. I asked what they needed to do next. Drew said they needed to wrap the rope around the top to hold them together. I started the rope on the top, and the children took turns working together to walk the rope around and pull it tight so the sticks would not fall apart. It worked! The frame of the teepee was standing by itself. The time came to put the outside of the teepee on the frame, and the children collected the canvas and headed outside to their structure that they had so proudly worked on together. It seemed like a pretty simple task. They were used to helping each other and working together, so it seemed all you need to do is to wrap it around. However, there was a problem when that happened. The canvas was not staying attached to the frame. I asked what they thought they could do to get the canvas to stay attached to the sticks. There were a few different ideas ranging from tape to glue to rope. Then Joey said they could use nails. Mr. Janitis asked him how nails would help, and he said you just pound them into the wood. After Joey's suggestion of using nails, another child suggested that we use a screwdriver. I asked if you could use a screwdriver with nails, and Joey said, "No, you need screws." The group decided that screws would be the best idea and headed inside to retrieve some screws and a drill. They found some screws and then headed back out to work with me to secure the canvas to the supports. After some hard work, the teepee was finally finished, and Jonah said, "We even have a door," and pointed to the opening that they left to get in. Charlie asked, "Can we go inside now?" I asked if everyone would be able to fit, and the group decided only 2 or 3 people could be in the teepee at a time. They took turns going into the teepee and testing it out. Jonah said, "There's actually a bunch of room in here." It seemed that the teepee was a success. Just as I thought our teepee was finally complete, Joey came up to me with a picture he had made earlier in the day and said that he thought we should paint the teepee. I thought it was a great idea, and being the end of the year, I asked what the group thought of having the school community help paint it at the end of the year celebration. They all thought it was a great idea and set it up outside for all the students to help paint with their families and leave as a gift for their school.